Hi, everybody. It is Thursday, ready for our live with Sara. I'm going to reach out to her and we'll see if Instagram wants to be nice and let us. Sometimes the connections don't go so well, so we'll see. Sara has been invited. We'll see on her end. And there it is. So, hey, we
Good
have
morning.
a test going, but the test wasn't working, so I'm so glad to.
Whew.
Yeah, right?
Hurdle one down.
It's just, I know, it's so iffy, and then things in life. So anyway, hi. So let's get started. This is Sara, and we don't really know each other, but we have said hi to each other in person. So I'm really interested in finding about you and your art, and I will let you kind of introduce yourself and just tell us kind of what mediums you work in, and from there, go ahead. It's all yours.
Sounds good. Thanks, Heather. Thank you so much for having me on this morning. I'm excited to get to chat with you. Hi, my name is Sara Przytulski. Sara P is fine. I am a self-taught artist. I live in Westchester, Pennsylvania, and I really began my art journey in 2021. How it kind of came about was, unfortunately, I lost my mom to cancer in May of 2021. And my grief therapist at the time was like, well, let's get you doing something with your hands. Let's take your mind off of all of that. And she asked me what I like to do on the side, whatever. I mentioned how I kind of always liked to paint. I never really dedicated a lot of time to it. So she said, okay, let's start small. Go out and just buy a sketchbook. Literally went out and just bought this cheapy little sketchbook from Rite Aid and just started sketching. From there, I transitioned over into making kindness rocks because I figured if I wasn't feeling the greatest, maybe putting kindness out into the world, I would get it back. That kind of took off. I became obsessed with it. I was waking up in the middle of the night, going out there painting rocks like it was crazy, right? But then later on, it was a couple months later, my best friend for my birthday bought me this huge art kit. All these acrylic paints, canvases, brushes, all of that. And she was like, go crazy. You can go bigger. Go crazy. And from there, it has just kind of taken off. I started painting. I was doing a few little things, and then I started challenging, going on Pinterest, finding things that I liked and trying to not copy, but do something similar, put my own spin on it. And I started posting some things because I was like, actually, maybe these are kind of good. And the response that I got was overwhelming, like more than I would have ever expected. And once people started being like, oh, are you selling this? Or do you have prints? I was like, this is kind of crazy. So I created my art Instagram page. I created a website just as a place to like hold everything that I was doing. And then I saw a post about the Chester County Art Walk. It was their second year. And I don't know, I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to bet on myself. I'm going to apply, and I got in. And from then on, it's just, I've been in a couple other shows. I'm a member at the Corner Art Collective in downtown Westchester. I have paintings at the collective in Pottstown. And I also have art up in Connecticut at the Walnut Beach Coffee House. So, I forgot the other thing too. I started doing tutorials. So, because I figured as a self-taught artist, I benefited greatly from, people sharing their tips and tricks. So that's just my way of putting it, or, paying it forward.
Yeah, that's so cool. I think that's awesome that your mom's passing inspired you to find your inner artist. Grief can do a lot for us. My mom has passed as well. And, just to get through that process is really amazing that you went through art, because there's so many ways you could go. And then your tutorials, I think, are awesome. I always think about when I was a little kid. I'm much older than you. When I was a little kid, I used to watch Channel 12 like all the time, just because, you know, the cooking shows, the Bob Ross stuff. And I think that's kind of like what Instagram is now for me. It's more of like, you know, if you looked at my Instagram save thing, it's all these artists and ideas and inspirations. And you go to Pinterest. I go to Pinterest too for inspiration. You know, you see things and you're like, that is so cool. How do I do that? And then you kind of, on a whim, just kind of get the supplies. And my house, I'm sure, same with you, has supplies for every single project imaginable. Some will never be used. Amazon loves me, but it's fun. So that's really cool. Now, how did you, the store in Connecticut, is that somewhere you often go or are friends with the people for the coffee house?
So I was born up there, and my dad still is actually there. He is actually within walking distance. And so the town of Milford, it's right on the water, and there's an island called Charles Island. It's a big, you know, it's a big thing up there. My dad had taken a photograph. He takes fantastic photos. And so one year I was like, you know what, I'm going to take one of his photos of the island. It was at sunrise, beautiful orange background, and try to paint that for him. So I did, and I mean, not to toot my own horn, but toot. No, but it came out really good. And so like he was excited about it, and I turned that painting into a canvas tote. So I had that painting, you know, printed on the totes, and he had brought it to the coffee house, and they were like, oh yeah, we love this. They checked out, you know, my social media, all of that, and they were like, actually, we would like for her to display things here. So that was last November. It was right after Thanksgiving. That's really cool. Yeah, so I had a whole wall to myself and had, you know, all my paintings up there. It did really well. And then they just expanded actually earlier this year, and they called me back and were like, hey, we'd like for you to display again in our new expansion area. So I've been there again since the end of June, and all my stuff will be up until the end of December. So
that's awesome. It must have made you feel so good when they like call back and we're like, we have another wall, we need more stuff, and you're like, oh no.
Exactly. And it's funny because like as things settle down, because my dad's right there, he's able to quickly go and put up some new things, because I've spent more than, you know, I actually have space for. And so I joke, I call him my dadager. He goes over, he makes sure everything is in place and tags her up and there's no holes. So yeah, it's been nice since I can't be there all the time. You know, I try to get up there as much as I can, but I can't be there all the time.
Yeah. So it's a little, sometimes it's hard to get to people 5 minutes away, let alone, you know, a couple hours away.
This is true.
It's hard. So what are you working on right now, or like what specific medium do you love, you know, that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so right now I'm in the process of working on what I'm calling a Sweetheart series that I'm going to launch in January. So it's a collection of 6x6 mini paintings of hearts. So getting ahead of the Valentine's Day season. So I've been working fast and furious on trying to get those completed, all within, you know, the acrylic painting. That's really where I like to work. I dabbled in a little bit of oil. I'm too impatient for that. It takes forever to dry, and I'm like, and ultimately I will touch it and mess it up and the whole thing. So yeah, they'll all be in that.
Are they on canvas or little cradle boards or?
Canvas, yeah. I actually have one that is completed. So they'll be like the, you know, the deep edge canvas. They can sit on a shelf, or I will also have them all wired. So if you wanted to hang them up, you can certainly do that too. But yeah, they'll all be like that. So, but yeah, all different kinds of, you know, designs and
colors and
exactly.
Fun stuff. Yeah. That's very cool. I love that it's a little collection. I've kind of started to go that way myself. And I noticed on one of your pieces, when Sarah sent me a bunch of pictures, so I will post those, and her information will also be on in my bio. You can always find her. But on one of your pieces, the side, you had the pink and white stripes. Mm-hmm. And I always put stripes in my stuff. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. She has stripes on the side of her stuff too. Some of your stuff, not all of it, but.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I love adding the stripes. I did it on a whim on a piece maybe a year or two ago. And, I was like, oh, that's cool. It just gives it something different. It kind of like modernizes it, but also gives it a little bit of whimsy at the same time. So
Yeah. I love whimsy. I love fun. The art I used to, well, I still do, but I used to really be very realistic, and I've kind of started to wane myself away from there. My house personally is whimsical and modern, and nothing matches, and that's just kind of me, and that's what I love. But it's funny, if you would see my art, you would be like, that's not her house, that is not her style, but it's totally opposite of what I do. So when do you think, well, I guess that we already answered that. I was going to say, when do you think like you first realized you were an artist? But it was with your mom's passing that, you know, through grief therapy, you discovered that you had a passion and it kind of helped you heal. And from there it grew. So I think that's super, super awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so how do you know when you're working on your work that like you're finished, or if you feel you get frustrated and it like, do you walk away? Do you stop working on it? Do you throw it out? Do you just let it sit and come back to it?
Yeah. So sometimes I feel very confident that a piece is done, right? And then I'll come back to it and I'm like, actually, maybe I want to add a little something here. So I think it depends on the piece, but sometimes I never really know if it's done or not until I've got it, you know, varnished and wired and all of that. If I get frustrated with the piece, I'll often just walk away. You know what? I need to walk away, clear my head. I'll go for a walk, go for a run, put on an episode of The New Girl, which is one of my favorite shows. Just get away from it. But yeah, and so if I come back to it and I'm like, you know what? No, this is not working. I need to scrap it, whatever. I never throw anything out. I always try to repurpose it. Either I'll paint over it. I've done that many times. I will cut it up and put it into little small, you know, itty bitty frames and do it that way. Or I'll make bookmarks out of it or magnets. Just then that way, like nothing's ever tossed. I don't want to create more trash in the world, you know? I always try to like give it a new life in some way.
Yeah, I think all of us artists have like a stash of stuff. Like my husband would be like, why are you saving this? I'm like, I can use it for something sometime. No. And then I love that when you get stuck, you turn to a lot of things that I consider like mental health helps, like you're running, or, you know, it's just your mind can kind of go. I work out for my like mental health, and just, you know, it helps me know that for my future, I stay strong. So it's not just through our art that, you know, we physically feel better and help other people feel better with ourselves. I was going to say, what with your art, I mean, I think whimsy comes of it, but some of your art is not, some of it's a little bit more serious. Like, what do you want someone, when they first walk up to one of your pieces, to feel within that like first few minutes? Is there like a feeling you go for? Just because everybody's so different.
Right. Yeah. So the way that I want viewers to look at my paintings is just feel joy, feel, you know, just a sense of calm and positivity, really. And I always add a metallic element or like a touch of sparkle to my paintings. That's my way of bringing my mom into my work. She was a lover of all things sparkly and shiny and jewelry. And so I always put in, whether it is in your face metallic or, you know, all that glitter, like I have on some of my pieces, or just like a little hint of it. It's always there. And I think that like the metallicness of it all also kind of lends a just like a fun feeling to the piece.
I love that. It gave me kind of chills to know that like it's your mom, that like that's why you have the glitter and the brightness of your work. I think that's so cool.
Thank you.
Since I paint a lot of people's pets, like I get emotional sometimes knowing that the pet passed away. So I'm like, oh gosh. And then when I give it to them, sometimes I start crying because they're crying. I'm like, I have to stop this. I have to stop this. But
that's so special.
Yeah, but that's like so cool that like that little brightness. I love that. I almost thought of you know, finding her jewelry and painting some of her pieces. That would be so cool. Like a little
I love
collection
that.
of like, you know, if she had
Yeah.
like brooches or earrings, I don't know, or something like, especially like little 6x6s. That would be so
Yes.
special. And
Oh,
just
I
to know
love
that
that
like you're still
idea.
honoring her. Oh, I love that. I
Yeah,
would,
that's an awesome idea, Heather. I love
yeah.
that.
I might go do it with some of my mom's stuff too. I don't know. It's so cool. Like
Clear
you
my
wouldn't want to
schedule.
put anything in there because you don't want to give it away, but that would be so, so cool.
Yeah.
What do you have coming up in 2026?
Ooh, so a lot of exciting things coming up in 2026. I am working on some workshops and classes because I started dabbling in that a little bit the past couple of months. And then I have two big exciting things coming up for 2026 that I can't quite yet talk about. One's going to be in the beginning of the spring, and the other one is at the more towards the end of the spring, but can't quite yet spill the beans on that. But hopefully soon, because
Yeah,
they're
yeah, I
exciting.
get. So talk a little bit more about your tutorials. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen Sarah, follow Sarah because she started doing awesome tutorials that are easy things that you can do at home by yourself or with your kids. And she takes you step by step. And then in her comment section, you will see the process that you need to take. And you could always message Sarah if you have a question. But talk a little bit about that. And I know you said you started doing it because that's what you know you used to search and you used to watch and you're like, I want to share because it helped me become who I am. So
Right. Yeah. So I guess it kind of started last year. I was kind of thinking about this, like going into this talk, like, okay, when did I actually start doing these kind of videos? But last year I started doing time lapse videos. It was just, okay, this is how I do this. No voiceover, just very bare bones. Then in January I posted something about like, why do I start with an underpainting? Right. And then that kind of took off, like all the comments and people were sharing and like, oh, I didn't realize that. And I guess my confidence grew because I never really wanted to do like a voiceover or like put myself out there. I was like, no, I just want it to be about my art. And then I was like, you know what? I need to start betting on me and being confident in myself. So I did a reel, I think it was the end of March, beginning of April, about painting roses with a real rose. Like you can paint on the rose, stamp it, layer it, and then you get something cool. And I actually did a voiceover. That was my first voiceover, my first reel like that. And you can see like I don't know, I go back to it now and I'm like, oh my gosh, my setup was not the way that I have now. But that really took off, and I was so surprised. Like I could see like people saving it, sharing it, commenting on it, and then from there, like people were like, oh, you know, what else do you know how to do? Or, oh, I was wondering about this. I think in our artist support group chat, somebody said something came up about painting on glasses, and I was like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. I've been doing that, and then I was like, oh, well, why don't I just do a reel on how to do that? Because you know, whatever. And
I'll have to look back. I didn't see that one.
yeah. That I think that was in April or May. But yeah, and it's kind of come about from like suggestions from people, or people like will say, oh, you know what? Do you know how to do this? Or I'll find or something that I've been doing that I've like, oh yeah, I guess I could probably share that. And yeah, just taking video of myself and doing the voiceover, which sometimes works, sometimes
I know.
takes 20 times.
All those like computery stuff, you just never know.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, no, I forget what I was gonna say. Something about your work. I don't know. What was I gonna say? Totally forget. It just left me.
No worries.
So yeah, I know. I'm sorry. And then so what do you do? Are you a full-time artist? Do you have a day job? Or you know, when do you find
Yeah.
time for your art? Sometimes that's hard. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Sometimes when I like am working on a project and I forget to video it and it's so good and you're like, shoot, I should have.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my gosh. And then you're like you're like, should I get my camera? Should I not get my camera? And you're like, oh my God, let me just be free and not have a camera for once. So
Right.
sometimes I do, do that too.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Or
So
I
talk
thought
about
that I hit record and I didn't. And then I get done and I'm like, no.
yeah, I've done that too. Yeah. So are you full-time or do you?
No. So I like to joke that this is my 5 to 9. So my 9 to 5 is I am a training and talent development partner for QVC, actually. And so, yeah, I train our buying team members on systems and processes. I was a former buyer, so I think that a lot of like my corporate background and the training portion kind of like was a good transition into now this 5 to 9 artwork stuff. So whether it's like coming up with pricing or marketing stuff out there, or now with my tutorials, like I can kind of take all of that. So I try to sneak in my paintings as much as I can. Hopefully my coworkers aren't watching. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But no, like after hours is I'm doing that all the time, where I get up early before I have to log in to work, and I'm doing, you know, different reels or different paintings and things like that. So I try sneaking in as much as I can.
Yeah, maybe you'll have like a how to do kit on QVC soon. You never know.
You never know.
Were you there when they did the 50 states tour?
No, I've been there for, it's a little over 13 years. So I think I just missed that a little bit. But I've had friends that were there during that time. My mom was there during that time, because fun fact, she also used to work there.
Oh,
yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
What did she do there?
She was in supply chain.
Okay.
So I would buy the stuff and she would get the stuff into the warehouse. That's what we would joke.
That's funny. She's like, I like what you picked.
Exactly.
I actually, for the 50 states, we did a thing. We did like these teapot clocks made out of ceramics. I remember like many nights, like stamping and painting. And
oh my gosh.
With QVC, you have to give like, say 1,000, but if they only sell 2, then you get your 990 some back.
Exactly.
So it's a risk you have to take of being an artist. But that was really fun. I love that, because you got to see, you know, the different artists around the country and special individual makers and stuff. So that was a cool little project they did.
That is cool.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say or share or?
Yeah, no, just thank you so much for this time. And I would say, like, to anyone watching or listening, like, just bet on yourself and just take all the opportunities. Like, I would never imagine that this is what I would be doing right now. Like 5 years ago, me, if you told me that this is what I would be doing right now, I would be like, you are insane. There is absolutely no way. So I guess my biggest piece of advice is just bet on yourself and try. Like, you know, even if it doesn't turn out right the first time, we always learn from whatever that was. So you learn from it, try again, and see what comes about.
Yeah. I was teaching adults a watercolor class last night, and one of the ladies just like loved it. But I was like, you know, go buy some postcards or cards and a little bit of paint. Don't buy a ton, you know, because you don't like it in the end. And just start, and then send them to your friends, because it's such an easy way to not like feel like you're wasting, like we say. And it's like you can make someone else's day happy by sending them a card or a postcard.
Exactly.
So I think that's awesome.
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you, and I feel like your work makes the world a little brighter. And now that I know you put a little glitter in it, I think that's just the coolest thing. And I will be looking for that. So make sure the brighter, the better. And I love that your mom was your inspiration. That really, really touches my heart. And
thanks.
I think we need to work on her jewelry line. So
I know, I'm loving that idea. Maybe that's a Mother's Day special or something. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you again. And Sarah's info will be in my bio. I post these also on YouTube, so you can go over there. So there's lots of ways to connect with Sarah, but make sure you follow her. Her information is going to be in the comments. And I thank you again, and happy holidays. And I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Happy holidays to you too. Thanks, Heather. Appreciate it.
See you, Sarah.
See ya. Bye.